There is a silent truth hovering in the air of almost every marriage and long-term relationship. It is a truth that men, especially good men, loyal men, refuse to look in the eye. The truth is that you feel the finish line is always moving. Picture this. You are 20 years old. They tell you that if you get a steady job, you will be eligible. You get it. Then they tell you that if you buy a house, you will be a catch. You buy it. Then they tell you that if you are emotionally open, you will be the perfect husband. You do it. They tell you that if you are a present father, she will be eternally satisfied. You become that father. Decades pass. You are 40, maybe 50. You have checked every single box society put on the list. You have climbed every step. And yet, you feel a restlessness in her. You feel that despite all your success, despite all your provision, despite all your loyalty, she is still looking for something else. Not necessarily another man, but something else from you. You feel that your enough is never truly enough. You feel an invisible pressure, a constant demand for more status, more money, more excitement, more leadership. And you ask yourself with a mix of exhaustion and rage, when does the test end? When can I simply rest and be loved for who I am, and not for what I provide or what I climb? The answer, the inconvenient truth no one will tell you in modern couples therapy, is never. The test never ends. The common enemy here is the comforting lie of romantic, unconditional love. Society, Hollywood, and a modern narrative have sold you a flawed map. They have told you that women are looking for an equal. They have told you they are looking for a partner. They have told you that love is based on the static acceptance of who you are. That map is the cause of your frustration, because you have been taught to play a game of equality, when in reality you are trapped in a game of biological hierarchy. Today, I am going to reveal the hidden machinery behind this perpetual dissatisfaction. Today, we are going to talk about what really drives female selection. We are not going to use euphemisms. We are going to talk about hypergamy. But not the superficial version you hear on the internet. That is a childish simplification. We are going to talk about hypergamy as a biological survival imperative. I am going to show you the hidden system that allows a woman to love you and at the same time despise you if she feels you have stopped climbing. I am going to explain why your stagnation is her danger. What you are about to hear will shatter your beliefs about romance and loyalty. It will hurt because you will realize that the rest you crave does not exist in the nature of intersexual relationships. But it will also set you free, because once you understand the machinery, you will stop taking it as a personal attack and start seeing it for what it is, a mechanism of genetic and existential optimization. Brace yourself. We are going into the deep mind. The first act of this transformation requires us to destroy the greatest social lie of our time, the myth of the egalitarian partner. For 50 years, we have been bombarded with the idea that the ideal relationship is a perfect democracy between two equals, 50-50, that the modern, empowered, capable woman seeks a man who is her peer, her mirror. And you, being a logical and adaptable man, accepted this. You stopped trying to lead. You started asking, what do you want to do for everything? You shared your deepest fears. You stepped down from the pedestal of authority to meet her on the plains of equality. And what happened? The passion evaporated, the respect eroded, because the raw truth, the one that contradicts all modern pamphlets, is that the deep female psyche does not respond to the desire for an equal. It responds to the desire for a competent superior. This is not chauvinism, it is pure evolutionary biology. For hundreds of thousands of years, the equal could not protect her. The equal could not guarantee resources in a brutal winter. The equal was a risk. Only the man who demonstrated superior capacity, strength, cunning, resources, status, could offer the security necessary for reproduction and survival. That ancestral software is not uninstalled by 50 years of feminism or political correctness. It is still running in the background, in the subconscious operating system of every woman you have ever met. The social lie tells you she wants you to be vulnerable. The flawed map tells you that you can cry on her shoulder. But when you do, when you collapse and look to her as your rock, you see that flash of panic in her eyes. You see her attraction dry up instantly. Why? Because you have violated the fundamental rule of hypergamy. You have demonstrated that in that moment, you are the weaker one in the equation. And to female biology, a man weaker than her is not a partner. He is a child or a burden. You have been following the modern society map, and you have crashed against the rocks of biological reality. It wasn't your fault. No one gave you the instruction manual for the machine. They told you the machine ran on sugar and kindness, when in reality it runs on power and competence. Now, the revelation. Let's define the beast. Let's name the gears of this machinery so you can see them operating in real time. Hypergamy is not interest in the malicious sense. It is not evil. It is a filter. We must baptize this concept correctly. We won't just call it hypergamy. We will call it the vertical optimization scanner. The vertical optimization scanner is a subconscious mechanism that is always on in a woman's mind. Always. It doesn't turn off when she gets married. It doesn't turn off when she has children. It doesn't turn off when she tells you, "I love you." This scanner has only one function: to evaluate if the man she is with is the best possible option she can access in terms of survival and genetic replication. It evaluates if you are still the ceiling or if you have become the floor. To understand this, we must introduce a key concept: the safety gap. Women, by biological nature, being physically more vulnerable and carrying the reproductive burden, have an existential need for safety. But I'm not just talking about physical safety. I'm talking about competent safety. They need to feel that you are in some way above them in capability, that you can solve problems they cannot, that you can face threats that paralyze them, that you can navigate chaos better than they can. That distance between your capacity and hers is the safety gap. As long as that gap exists, as long as she perceives you as more capable, more stoic, stronger, or more resourceful than her, she feels safe. And that safety is the foundation of female desire. She can let go. She can be feminine. She can relax because she knows the captain of the ship knows more than she does. But here is where the tragedy of the modern man comes in. You get married. You relax. You enter the comfort zone. You stop learning. You stop taking care of your body. You stop having ambition. You start seeking her approval for everything. And at the same time, she keeps growing. She advances in her career. She matures. Suddenly, the apex anxiety is activated. When a woman feels that she is the strongest, smartest, or most capable person in the relationship, she does not feel empowered in the romantic context. She feels terrified. She feels there is no roof. She feels exposed to the elements. If she is the leader, who protects her? If she is the one solving everything, what does she need you for? Apex anxiety is what kills the libido. It is what generates contempt. A woman cannot desire a man she feels she has to take care of or direct. It is biologically impossible. Her hypergamist instinct, the desire to look up, clashes against the reality of having to look down or to the side. And this friction creates the resentment you feel. You think you are being a good egalitarian partner, but she feels you have failed in your primal duty, to be her competent superior. Now, let's go to the system, to the chronicle of how this manifests in real life. Because hypergamy is not static, it is dynamic. It is a constant test. Many men believe the sale is closed on the wedding day. They believe the contract is signed and loyalty is guaranteed by law or morality. The reality is that hypergamy requires continuous recertification. Imagine you are a pilot. It doesn't matter that you flew perfectly 10 years ago. If you don't pass the physical and technical test today, you don't fly. Your license must be renewed. Your woman is constantly recertifying you, and she does it through a mechanism that all men hate but few understand, the shit tests or congruence tests. But in the context of deep hypergamy, I prefer to call them structural audits. Phase 1, the structural audit. You are having a quiet Sunday, everything seems fine. Suddenly, she throws out a provocative comment. She criticizes something you did, or she changes plans at the last minute irrationally, or she casually mentions how her friend's husband just got promoted. This is not an accident, it is an audit. Her subconscious is asking, is he still solid? Is he still immovable? Or has he gone soft? If you react with anger, with defensiveness, or with pleading, you have failed the audit. You have shown her that her emotional chaos can destabilize you. You have shown her that she controls the frame, and if she controls the frame, she is the leader. And if she is the leader, the safety gap disappears. Hypergamy takes note. The captain is losing control. Phase 2, scanning the horizon. If you fail enough audits, if you stagnate in your career, in your physique, or in your leadership, her vertical optimization scanner begins to look outward. Note, this does not mean she is going to be physically unfaithful immediately. It means she starts to compare. She starts noticing other men, not for their beauty but for their competence. She notices the boss who makes tough decisions without hesitating. She notices the gym trainer who has iron discipline. She notices the neighbor who fixed his own roof. She compares your stasis with the dynamism of others. Hypergamy seeks movement, it seeks ascent, and you are standing still. In this phase, you start hearing phrases like, I feel like we've grown in different directions, or I need time to find myself. Translation, my hypergamy has detected that you are no longer the best possible option for my safety and expansion, and I am rationalizing my desire to exit. Phase 3, contempt and historical rewriting. When hypergamy is not satisfied, the resulting feeling is not pity, it is contempt. Nature is brutal. It has no patience for what does not work. A woman who feels she is tied to a man who does not surpass her in capacity feels she is wasting her biological potential. She feels she is anchored to a corpse. And to justify her exit or her cold treatment of you, historical rewriting begins. Suddenly, your past sacrifices don't count. You were never there. You only cared about work. She needs to turn you into the villain or the incompetent one to justify her hypergamy's impulse to seek something better. You try to use logic, but I gave you everything. She responds with emotion,
but I don't feel safe, loved, admired. What she is really saying is, I do not feel you are superior to me right now, and therefore I cannot respect you. This is the system. It is a cold, evolutionary, and efficient machinery. It does not care about your feelings. It cares about survival and optimization. Here we arrive at the power pivot, the moment of truth. Up to now, this sounds depressing. It sounds as if women are biological mercenaries and you are a disposable victim. If you stay with that interpretation, you will become a bitter man, full of hate, a cynic who retreats from the world. But you are not that. You are a strategist. Vindication does not come from complaining about the rain. It comes from building an impenetrable roof. The supreme revelation is this: her hypergamy is not your enemy, it is your fuel. Think about it. If women accepted any man, if they unconditionally loved the loser, the lazy, the weak, civilization would collapse. There would be no incentive for greatness. Hypergamy is nature's whip that forces us men to build, to conquer, to improve, to be strong. The fact that she is never satisfied, the fact that she always wants more, is what keeps you alive. Your pain comes from wanting to rest. It comes from believing that marriage is a finish line where you can sit down and let your gut grow. But the awakened man, the man who possesses the forbidden knowledge, understands that marriage is not a parking lot. It is a mountain with no summit. Vindication arrives when you stop seeing her optimization scanner as a threat and start seeing it as a performance monitor. When she tests you, when you feel that pressure, instead of getting offended, you use it. You ask yourself, have I become complacent? Have I stopped leading? Have I stopped cultivating my own power? Her hypergamous nature is the most brutal and honest mirror you will ever have. If she despises you, it is very likely that there is a part of you that has become despicable, weak, lazy, needy. Here is the secret of power. You must become your own hypergamous origin point. What does this mean? It means you must want more from yourself, even more than she wants from you. You must be the one who is never satisfied with your current level of knowledge, strength, or wealth. You must be the one obsessed with the ascent. When you were the one leading the change, when you were the one who is always growing, her hypergamy calms down, it relaxes, because her scanner looks and says, this man is climbing faster than I could alone. I am safe with him. He is the best vehicle for my survival. The only way to beat hypergamy is to be unreachable in your ascent. If you are always evolving, she will always be trying to catch up to you. She will always be trying to earn you. The dynamic is reversed. Instead of you trying to be enough for her, she strives to be worthy of accompanying you on your journey. The safety gap stays open, not because you push her down, but because you keep climbing up. Her loss was your revolution, we said before. Well, her demanding nature is your gym. Her inability to love a static man is the reason you will become a dynamic man. Do not hate her for her biology. Use it. Now, the moral warning. And this is crucial for experienced men like you. Understanding hypergamy is having the skeleton key to female desire. But it is dangerous knowledge. It can lead you to two abysses. The first abyss is relational nihilism. Thinking, since she will never love me unconditionally, then it's not worth it. She only wants me for my resources. This is false. She wants you for your capacity to generate resources in safety, which is an extension of your character. Do not discard the beauty of female companionship just because it has conditions. Everything in life has conditions. Gravity is a condition. The sun is a condition. Accept it. The second abyss is the tyranny of performance. Becoming so obsessed with being the perfect alpha, the perfect provider, that you burn out. You become a slave to your own ambition just to keep her. True power, the strategic balance, lies in understanding that you do this for you. You climb the mountain not so she looks at you, but because you are a mountaineer. You build the empire not to buy her shoes, but because you are an emperor. If she accompanies you and respects you, she is welcome. Enjoy her femininity, her care, her beauty. It is the warrior's reward. But if she decides to leave, if her hypergamy irrationally decides that the neighbor is a better option, you do not collapse because you weren't climbing for her. You were climbing for you. Your value did not depend on her validation, it depended on your altitude. You keep climbing. And from above, the view is clear. Understanding hypergamy takes away the fear of losing her, because you know that as long as you stay on the path of ascent, you will always have options. You know that you are the prize. Biology dictates it. The scarce resource is not beauty, which is common. It is high-level masculine competence and stoic leadership, which is extremely rare. We have traveled to the depths of biological programming. We started with the frustration of the moving finish line, the feeling that your effort is never enough. We destroyed the myth of romantic egalitarianism and exposed the truth that women seek a competent superior, not a roommate. We revealed the machinery, the safety gap, and apex anxiety. You understood why your stagnation generates her contempt. We saw the chronicle of structural audits and how a lack of leadership leads to historical rewriting. And finally, we found vindication in the power pivot. Hypergamy is not your enemy. It is the fuel of your ascent. It is the constant reminder that you must not stop. You are no longer blind. You now see the strings that move the puppets of desire. You see the world as it truly is. If this revelation has shattered your childish illusions and handed you the sword of adult truth, like this video and subscribe, because here we don't give dating advice, we give strategies to reign. But more importantly, join the tribe. Join the elite of men who have stopped crying over the injustice of love and have started mastering the rules of the game. And as a badge of your new understanding, as a sign that you accept nature's challenge, comment the word ascent. Comment ascent if you understand that the only direction is up. Comment ascent if you accept that your rest is in the grave, but your glory is in the climb. Comment ascent if you decide to be the ceiling and never again the floor. Most men will keep wondering, what does she want? They will keep buying flowers to put out nuclear fires. They will keep being victims of a biology they refuse to accept. Not you. You have looked into the abyss of hypergamy and smiled back, because you know you are built to climb. And while they look for someone to accept them as they are, you will become someone who is impossible to ignore.